I want to talk about some current events, and I named this video "When Nemesis Visits," which is, I think, is very nice description of what's happening and what will transpire shortly. Uh, when some event happens, say for example, Trump got impeached for the second time, and now people are wondering if the case is going to go to Senate, and then what will happen, or if they'll wait until Biden comes in. But these events could be like something incidental, something that you would say that they're not related or they don't fit into a pattern. But not everybody looks at things in the same way as, as if something is like just a happenstance. It's not. It's like a landmark, parts of a scenario that unfolds, and some people have a clue what's going to happen next. And I think that we are entering a very bloody chapter in US history, or if there will be a US after what's going to happen, surely. Well, I have a video, it was called 2020 Psychic Predictions, and in that video I predicted that in the year 2020 many US politicians will get killed, and also that Israel will get reoccupied by other countries around her, like Iran, Syria. The Palestinians will revolt, but these things haven't happened yet. But all the stuff that's right before it, it has happened. I mean, God isn't sitting there. She's not like kind of looking at my video and saying, "Oh, I need to kind of change the outcome of the events to kind of make it so that the psychic prediction will become true." So what I'm late, but I'm holding off on my psychic predictions for 2021 because I think these things are gonna happen, and there is really two different governments really in the United States at the moment, but later on we might have a few more. And these two camps, I have some names for them, and some people know one of the names, the other one they don't know. One of the names is called the globalists. It's just similar to Soviet Union, the deep state. Everybody knows this name and how they operate. But what they don't see is, well, they call it the Trump camp, but really it's a group of people that they sometimes refer to themselves as patriots. But there are parts of the U.S. military, U.S. Police and security establishment that they are really belong to patriots. Just like in the Civil War, there were parts of the government, there were senators in the Congress, in the Senate, and the congressmen, women that were partial to federation, to the Confederates, and they were in the different camp, and they had the participation in the government, but things fell apart. It's happening in the same manner as when things unfolded in the Civil War and it became a real war. But just like in the Civil War era, the whites, who are really the dominant groups in the United States, they have a lot of karma. They have done a lot of things that that's very shameful. They have committed genocide. They have done a little here, a little there. They've overthrown a lot of governments, and they've killed significant politicians, generals. They have karma, and when a nation has karma or a lot of karma, like the Americans have, but then sometimes the nemesis visits them, and things do not come out right. I think that with the amount of karma the Americans have, that this political establishment or this political entity you might call Yankee state, or that has two components, that is really either has died or is shortly going to die, and there will never be any more organization or government that even resembles what we have in the United States now. There might be some kind of continuation in the judicial branches of their government. There might be some continuation in some kinds of processes, like parliamentary processes, but there will be such disintegration that there will be nothing. After a while, when you look at this place, you'll be hard pressed to kind of say that, hey, this is the United States. No, it will be many governments, several governments. the Well, something similar happened in the Civil War in the United States. They had a lot of karma that came from slavery. They were uh, they were benefiting handsomely from slave trade, but it had its problems, moral issues. Then moral issues became legal issues. Then when a lot of people commit crimes, then it doesn't really, we don't send FBI after them, we send the military. So that's what happened. It became a military conflict within this area. So the same is happening in a sense now. Uh, there is more troops in U.S. capital than outside of the United States. But I th- what I pray when I look at the U.S. government, I pray to God that these people won't be able to put their shit back together again, and then continue with their militarism, overthrow foreign government, to continue with their form of capitalism, and this huge disparity. Well, I think that they know that they can't go on like that, because in effect they are into socialism. But well, in a place where a central bank or the Fed writes the checks, then why you need all these politicians? Is really they have a fiscal policy. That's what they call it. That the central bank just issues the money. Like if the central bank is going to issue $2,000 every month to every American, why do you need medical programs like or Social Security? Or these are like the same thing. They are like a roundabout way of getting money for older people or disabled. Or if they're already issuing the money, then why you need all this program? But or all these politicians that take credit for handing out these crumbs to us. But then there is another trouble with this place, is that once they issue all this money, then the dollar might collapse. But then there is the fact that all the corporations that have been they've been practicing socialism. They've been getting more money than any of us from the treasury or from the Fed. So what's the difference if the ordinary people also get a cut of it? And then I think that it economically this place might not fall into an abyss, because when the money is kind of shows up, then people will spend it on things that in a democratic way they think that these are important industries or important things to do. And also another consequence of all these is that central banks are going to go out of business because or all the big banks are going to go out of business because the central bank is issuing the money. If you don't need a regular bank, then they're they're not useful anymore. They're going to be become redundant. But I don't know if United States will fall apart economically, because when the money is in the hand of the people, everybody has a skin in the game, and they will spend the money in a more democratic, more the money will go into industries or institutions or practices that make sense. I mean, the ordinary person is the ultimate judge or ultimate decider, is really the hidden hand of what industry should live, what industry should die, or where the money should go. Well, I have an example of this. Is that I used to go to all these cinemas. I really like the big screen. I've been in some movies myself too. But well, I live in California, and this was much worse in New Hampshire or East Coast. That every time I went to the cinema, I see that I like blondes. I see some blonde chick. She's coming out with a boyfriend, and I was thinking, hey, I'm coming to this cinema. I'm a better looking guy. I got money. I got brains. How come she's not dating me? How come she's dating this? Most American guys, white guys, are gay these days. How come she's dating him? What is wrong? Something is wrong, right? I mean, I don't think that something is with me, but I'm trying to get into a philosophical kind of way of looking at things. Is that the consciousness of the consumer or person, the last man that takes out his credit card and buys something, like buys a ticket to a movie theater, right? This last man is the consciousness of a society, consciousness of the universe. This consciousness decided that, hey, this thing is still valuable, and I'll pay 12 to 15 or $17 to go see this movie. Right? So I had the money, and I decided that I'm gonna buy this product. But then when I was buying the product, I said, hey, how come this thing that's supposed to be mine is now over there? Okay, so what happens when you live in a socialist state where the Fed or central bank or treasury issues you the money? So it's just like what happened. I went to the movies. I had the money. There was no problem. So what happens if everybody has this right there, the beginning stage? and then I decided to go to the movie theater. But then after 3 4 months I went back, and all the movie theaters had closed down. And then I was forced. Hey, I like some entertainment here. I still watch Ancient Aliens, X Files, and I started watching 12 Monkeys. I've watched a lot of the series Lost. So where the hell am I gonna see those? So I have a tablet which is hooked up to Metro PCS. I get internet. So I asked them, and they gave me this tablet. And then I was looking for a service like Netflix. So hey, Netflix is not taking my credit card. Let me try Hulu. So I have this service, which is kind of equivalent to going out to the movies. Then I'm watching my movies I want. But then when I was browsing around, I was thinking, I hardly ever get a date, a nice date. I found this other app. I think it's called Omega Random Chat. So I'm getting on that, and this kind of video chat, anybody can get on it. You don't have to pay anything. Well, a lot of obnoxious people, a lot of really fags get on it too. So you have to like shut them out. They come on for 3 seconds or 4 seconds, and you push a button and you get rid of them. Or guys, I have no interest in this guy. But then women show up too from many places. And I've been on the Omega chat for like I don't know, a month. And I started accumulating all these women. They write, because you can chat, and you can also check who has been there, and you can pick that person and send them an email or chat with them. So I'm accumulating about 20 women. I didn't know. Well, I kind of knew that women like me and they have an interest. So, well, this experience, what's happening right now with this tablet and Omega Chat and Hulu is in a sense, in a real, it's an equivalent to going to the movie theater, taking out your credit card, and paying 12 to 17 bucks for a movie. And then also, in that experience, I never got the check. I had to be happy with the movie, only in one movie. But now, I take out my credit card and I pay about $5.99 for Hulu per month. And I see all these movies. For Omega Chat, I don't pay anything. The only thing the trouble I have is I have to get rid of all these gays and people jerking off online. And all these guys look like shit. I don't want to even see them for more than 2 seconds. But after about 3 seconds, that I have to put up the trouble to get rid of them. And now I have like 20 women, and see, I'm telling them, hey, call me on WhatsApp. We'll have a video date, and I don't know. I think I'm doing pretty good. Or this technological evolution has brought me in a better place, in a place that with a few dollars I get everything I want. Well, the technological progress, advances, and changes in society might bring the rest of society and make many institutions redundant, totally redundant. Or I could imagine one scenario with the US government. Say, for example, people found out a system like Omega Chat, but this system was very reliable, and you could figure out that what's the majority view in a county if there's politicians to be elected, and then you could have a radical democracy, like people uh, vote in. There is no way electronically or any otherwise that it could be screwed up, and the voting became mandatory. So it was really a very radical form of democracy. And then also the politicians were not politicians anymore, they were more like public servants, and they just got a salary. They couldn't be partial to any kind of company or corporation. So this kind of evolution that happened to my movie theater can happen to the politics. And in fact, there is a lot of technology that makes that possible. It can easily happen, and then we'll have a lot of institutions become obsolete, become just like that movie theater. It's a big building, and I think many governments they're going to change so radically that you couldn't even recognize them. I mean, they could become big empty buildings, big institutions, or become hollowed out. All their functions are done very cheaply by services like Omega Chat, like I don't know. You kind of have to follow my train of thinking. I kind of go along and pick up a little bits and pieces from everywhere and construct a theory of what will happen in the future. But I think that there will be a lot of violence, and many politicians will get killed. I had psychic experiences, but I'm not gonna talk about it because things are very bad, and I don't want to get a visit from the FBI or CIA or whoever. I'll just let it be, let it play itself out, and we'll see what happens next. But it might be a world that many people they don't they don't want, they're afraid of it, but it's actually a much better world than the one we left behind, and we'll see. Uh, uh, Also, another thing that is important is that in the old world, I would say before impeachment world, the the media, all the stuff that was coming in, it was more like a push media. Like they had these editors and writers, and they pushed their theories and ideas, and a lot of whites or affluent people, they got their agenda through. But there is also a component that was like the consciousness of regular guy, like my consciousness, and this consciousness was kind of like underground, and it was there, but really nobody paid attention to it. But then the technology came along, there were COVID-19, and this consciousness that was kind of like a real underdog, it was the one that made decisions who's going to be the politician, who's going to be a public servant, who's going to, all the women who has to be here, who shouldn't be. What if this expanded? And there was actually a book, it was called Here Comes Everybody. Here comes um, the nobodies. But there's just so many of us. And then, well, at this present time, like companies like Facebook or Google, they can kind of exert some kind of influence of how this mass consciousness comes out and expresses itself or chooses things or products or services. But this I don't think will hold because somebody else could come up tomorrow with another app that would replace Facebook, replace Google. Who knows? I realize my ideas are very strange, and some people might not identify with it. Actually, I think you need a couple of PhDs to even understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, just keep it in the back of your mind, and please subscribe, leave me a comment or note. And I really don't get any recognition or things might change. They might discover later on that hey, Hassan was Trump's the real psychic. I don't know if I would want such recognition in the world, but hey, when you have, let's not go there. I'll talk to you later. Yeah, just give me a thumbs up. Thank you.